happy birthday, Mike. Now I can say happy birthday, Mike, again.
I think so. I never, you know, it
And he didn't even hear me say take off, hoser.
he may still not be hearing it. Mike, can you hear us yet? It's weird because it. Now he can, I bet. Mike, Mark has been talking trash. He's been talking trash.
I said happy birthday. And then I said take off, hoser. Hey.
Hey, Carkey, welcome in. Carol's with us.
Good morning, Miss Carol.
I'm afraid Teddy's already down for first naps, so he may not be up for a little bit. Hey, Doug, good morning. Francisco, good morning, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I got a whole bunch there all of a sudden. Good morning, everybody, Microball says. Mike, did you hear Mark talk? He said he told you to.
I said happy birthday, Mike.
but he told me the other day that now that you told him what you did, you said what you did, he's not sure Canadians are such nice, friendly people anymore. Just throwing that out there. You can do what you wish with it. You know, I think he's probably bigger than you. He said, thank you, Mark. Well, he said, thank you for the happy birthday. Tina's here, wrangling hounds. Oh, goodness. We had a rough night, stormy weather, but it didn't, best I can tell, we didn't have any nasty weather. I didn't get any alerts on my phone or anything.
No tornadoes or none of that stuff.
Well, not here. They had them in other places, though. The news said there were several about in other states. I think maybe Illinois or Indiana had some. Probably, I think Illinois, and I don't know if Mississippi had some more or not. I believe they did. I know they were under a warning. Memphis was under a warning, and so it was. I'm afraid it might have been a bad night for Iowa. Carol said. And Doug says we're going to get bad weather today. Good morning, Dean. Welcome in, buddy. Are you off and out and about today? My wife has made it in. Good morning.
Mm-hmm.
What am I saying? Oh, seashells and turkey legs. Well, Brenda was on here. She would tell you that seashell searching wasn't all that good this week. It was the beaches were really clear of shells. It was funny. It almost like they'd been swept in a way. There were some chunks, mostly just rocky bits, and some small. She said there was some bivalves or scallop type shells, but nothing much else. It was just she didn't. She seemed to think that was very unusual. She didn't ever been like that, I don't think, before when she's been down there. And her and the girls, or her and a friend or two, or she's been down there several times now. Did you show Mark the? Yes, I did, Mike, and I told him you said that this was living proof that Canada had bigger moose than he had. And he wasn't so sure he believed that, because he said he didn't think that was your backyard. And that's what counted, whether the moose was in your backyard or not. The size is relative to your yard. Carol was on the phone with her son while the tornado sirens were going off. Oh my goodness, in Iowa. Jesus. Carol, I'm glad that it went south of him. Or that, I mean, that's. Oh, me. Oh, well, Mike said that was his backyard. I did. And I'll say it too now. Happy birthday, Mark. Oh, no. Mark's dealing with that problem right now, too, Tina, at least when it's warm enough. She's got two very muddy hounds, she says. Because that's what hounds do. They get muddy. Hounds they just, they run through stuff. It doesn't matter whether it's a mud puddle or a briar patch. They're going through it. Or a burr patch. Oh, thank you on the bloody hounds. Muddy hounds, not bloody hounds. I got bloody on my mind for some reason. Oh.
We're going to have lots of mud in August.
Yeah. He's thinking, and let me clarify that a little bit, because that's when he thinks the snow might melt.
Maybe.
I
am way over winter.
I wish I had. I don't think I've got them down. Did you send me a picture of
a picture of a whiteout yesterday?
Yeah, I thought so. I don't know if I've got it on my computer or not. Let me look.
It was on your phone.
Yeah, but I've got it. I sync them and download them. They download to my computer if I want them to. I don't know if I did that yesterday or not. Now I can't remember how to do it.
Field trip here.
Oh yeah, cool field trip.
There.
Oh my goodness! There, see that? See those drifts out there up above his roof line? There's somebody stuck in that outhouse out there, and they may not get out till the spring thaw.
Yeah.
My goodness, man! I tell you what, I don't know what that feels like, but I know that doesn't look fun.
Did I send you the picture of snowshoeing into the chicken house?
Yeah, you did. And I don't think that's downloaded either. I wish I had these hooked
over
up.
Top of Mount Suribachi.
I sent you a picture of some wildlife in my yard. Oh, I'll have to look, Carol. Hang on.
He's out the mountain already.
No, that's not what I wanted. Why does it do?
Are you on speaker?
That's cool. That's not what you sent me, Carol. That's somebody else's. Oh, wait a minute. You'd be over here. Look at Carol's wildlife. I think that's a buff in the living room.
Tatanka.
Tatanka. That's pretty nice, Carol. You have a lot of trouble with him breaking all the china? Because that looks like a bull in the china shop. Mark can't hear me. Mike, when does your snow generally start to disappear? Yes, it is. And while I'm glad we're not having miserable weather like some, we got lots of rain last night. Hounds consider it manna from heaven. And Carol's saying she's feeling sorry for you.
Happy morning.
Yeah, Mark muted because he's talking to his wife. They're having a discussion.
We got a little dog having an issue, so.
Yeah, that's what I figured. You need to go?
No.
Okay. Carol said that, or Mike said he's hoping his snow might be gone by May, but you're not that hopeful.
We're definitely going to have drifts into midsummer.
Well, yeah, it's supposed to.
And piles, how high are the piles where they've shoveled out your driveway 3 times or more?
12, 13, 14 feet tall in some places. We got drifts that tall.
Well, speaking of that, you mentioned something to me yesterday.
I have a hidden pickup truck that I haven't seen.
He has a 4-wheel drive Dodge pickup truck he hasn't seen since summer. Speaking of that, though, how did Samuel get that hay in there yesterday? Oh, doggy break.
What did you ask, Tim? Sorry.
That's okay. I said, how did Samuel get that hay in there? Speaking of snow and.
Well, we got a driveway, or we got a road that crosses the property kind of at an angle, and that was plowed open because the neighbor had 100 tons of hay delivered on a semi truck. So that road is open. He plowed it open with his big tractor, and we drove down. Both of us drove down that road a ways, and I put a strap on the front of my truck and through the hay strings, and we jerked those bales off there because they're 1,000-pound bales. So
is that your truck that the 4-wheel drive's not working in?
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if it was moving out yet or not.
So yeah, it runs fine, it drives fine, it just doesn't, 4-wheel drive's not working. So
Carol said that's from the Domino's farm building, that buff was, or that bison. They do have a real herd of bison on the property, but she chose not to get up close and personal with them.
That's good because they don't ever know that they're not wild animals.
Yeah, that's true. We have had barely any snow this year. It's been cold, but the snow missed us. That's Doug. Doug, remind me again where you're at. I don't know if he's in Ohio or. Well, we had a little dust in the snow. I was trying to think what the most we've had is, maybe a 1/4 inch, maybe a 1/2 inch at any time. So it's been a real blizzard here in East Tennessee. I'm actually sad about that. I'm sorry it all hits you, but this year, but I'm sad we don't have any.
We just look at it and say, thank God we don't live at Mammoth Lake in California.
Do what?
I said, we look outside and say, thank God we don't live at Mammoth Lake in California.
Oh, where they've got 60 feet or something?
Yeah.
Piled up. It's an ungodly amount of snow they've got.
Ridiculous.
I told you about seeing one of the meteorologists on TV out with a meteorologist, and they were digging a snow pit. I think they said it was 30-something feet deep. And the snow is much deeper, but it's compacted down now. It's starting to settle.
Yeah.
Make a mini iceberg or a glacier. And
well, we got a winter storm warning starting up tomorrow evening, and it's supposed to go into Tuesday. So,
oh no, I'm sorry. I am sorry.
We need the moisture. So,
yeah, you do.
Yeah,
You might not need irrigation water this year. In fact, your alfalfa may not grow like we were talking yesterday because it may not get any
May
sunlight.
not be exposed to the sun.
Exactly. Mike says he would like to move to a warmer climate one day. Come on down, Mike. Yeah, we're down 23 inches. Oh, Tina says they're down 23 inches from average snowfall. I didn't realize you guys were that low. I thought you'd had more than that. I know parts of New York didn't have hardly any. So I guess you're part of that.
Sorry, Tina, we took it all.
Yeah, it's all stuck out at Mark's place. Good morning, Tony. Friend Tasmic Chronicles is in the house.
It's funny because you don't go too far east of here and you run out of it.
Yeah, that is funny. It seems that over there, the
Not funny ha ha, but funny odd.
Yeah, yeah, not funny ha ha. Funny it is. It's funny not funny ha ha either. That like you said, your snow doesn't melt; it blows to Nebraska, but theirs has, but yours hasn't.
Yeah, we're not. We have our original flakes from November. So
Good morning, Dave. Adventures by D is in the house. Tell me an answer. Someone else asked, but I didn't see the answer yet. You were at an amusement park somewhere or in front of a sign that said a roller coaster, I believe, was 50 years old. But is that also your 50th birthday? Is that correct? And if it is, what day was that? And happy birthday. You got that right, Doug. Oh, hopefully they'll hire me to work for 6 months out of the year. Who's he talking about? Gonna move with me and Mike are gonna move to Florida and drive a bus for Disney. Well, you wouldn't have to worry about snow down there, I'll tell you that. Unless it's Snope. They make something down there called Snope, Mark. It's like they make a snow that's got soap. Somehow they use soap and
on purpose.
Yeah, they make it on purpose so that at Christmas time, when they do a fireworks show, they usually spray Snope on the crowd, and it's like snow, but you don't want to stick your tongue out and taste it because it's kind of soapy. But it looks like snow, at least in the light. Doug said he's going to ask him in June. I can take it. That means he's going to be down there. Both my mom. Dave said both my and Chris's birthday is coming in. Oh, okay. So it wasn't your birthday then, Dave, but you might have been celebrating it, but that wasn't the day.
Hey, booty.
I thought years ago, if I ever did want to retire to Florida, I'd get a job down there driving a boat. I've driven a lot of boats in my life.
Yeah.
He said you can have the snow.
Every bit of it.
Six Flags wooden roller coaster turned 50, 331. Oh, okay. Just a couple days ago then. On purpose. Mark had that same question. I don't remember what the question was.
Snow on purpose.
Oh, on purpose.
Making snow.
No. Okay. Well, it's pretend snow. It don't pile up like it is out in Mark country right now. Big advantage of living in Florida. If it was snow, it'd still melt. If you're like that sort of thing. Florida's really a little too hot for my liking. I don't know if I could ever get used to that heat. Maybe I could. I don't know. But I think I'm already too old for that. I think I'd have been, maybe I could have adjusted if I'd been born down there or something. Yeah, well, he's getting climate change. He's just not getting it. He's just not getting hotter in his case. I mean,
Yeah, we sure would like a little dose of that global warming crap that Watson's Bucket talks about.
don't you start. I was just sitting here thinking, maybe if you keep it up the way it is, maybe we could rebuild some glaciers. That'd be good.
Oh, they're building right there in the yard.
That's what I was thinking. You could end up living on a glacial moraine plain or something time it's over with.
I just sent you maybe that whiteout picture from yesterday to your email. I don't know if that helps or not.
You sent me a what picture?
That whiteout picture.
Yeah, I can get that. Hang on. Tina, I don't know. I get that. I get that most people do want warmer as they get older, and I don't totally disagree with that. I don't know. I've just never been one for heat. I'd have to try it and see. And only then if I could get it, if it was temporary. I'd want to have some control over it. Oh, there it is. Oh my. Let me see if I can show this. All right, guys, quick screen share here. Let's see if I can do this. I know I told you I updated my. There it is. Look, can you see out the window that picture? I don't know if I can make that bigger or not. I can make it a little bit bigger, but not much. Look at that, though, man.
There are big old buttes in the background over there that you can't even see. There, you're zooming in.
Yeah, I'm zooming in.
Past those buildings, there's hills.
Let me see if I can move it down. Oh, yeah, here we go. Well, you barely can see something out there. It looks like dark snow. I guess that's that line of mountains or ridges out there. What do you call that in your country?
They're just Badland buttes. They're just
Badland buttes.
And I sent you a picture of snowshoeing to the chicken house.
I'll put that up next. What is this? Can you see my cursor?
That's my chicken house.
That is your chicken house. Okay.
That's the back. That's the northwest part of my chicken house.
I bet the chickens are wondering if they're ever going to get to come out and peck again.
Yeah, they haven't been outside since November.
I'm thinking with the weather like it is right there, that
Carol said that's pretty. I don't think it's pretty at all.
She says, but I'm sure it would look prettier if it was January instead of April. Yeah, I think that part's true, Carol. I believe if it was January instead of April, they wouldn't take it nearly so personal. Oops. A little bit crooked there, but Marcus snowshoeing at Mount Sarabachi there. How can I turn that?
I don't know.
I should have turned it before I put it on there, probably. But you get the general idea.
That's the roof of the building that drift's going up to the top of the building there, about 12 feet tall.
So is this side covered now too?
You can see kind of a cave entrance there.
Right here. This is how you had to climb down.
Then you got to climb down the hill on the other side. into
get
the end of the building. Yeah.
Well, this looks like a Roadrunner art here in snow.
Good times will be had by all.
All right, hang on, mate.
Mike's not coming here.
He's sorry, but they're definitely not moving out towards you. Hopefully the chickens are nice and warm.
Looks like an igloo. I mean, they got snow insulation all around them.
Tina says snow on Christmas Eve is pretty. Before and after that, it's miserable. Tina, that's a good one. That's funny, Mark. That's funny all day long to some people. Diana says she's not coming either. Well, there's James of Surfer Girl fame. That's her husband, and he's at Myrtle's Inlet. I know where that's at. That's over by Myrtle Beach. It's actually south of Myrtle Beach a little bit. Welcome in, James. I'm guessing
he's probably fishing.
No, he's on his phone. He took his parents to market. Well, that's what maybe that's what he's really doing. Speaking of fishing, we're going to talk about fishes or some fishes here in a minute, a little bit. But man, I'm amazed and surprised of the number of great white sharks that are out off the East Coast right now. There's a lot. Every time I've looked at that great white shark monitoring site, seems like there's more and more. I wish John I'd ask him about that. Diana, I probably should say good morning and welcome, because you haven't been here the whole time, have you? You might have been, but you hadn't said anything. So what time is it? It's time. All right, guys. As some of you know, or maybe all of you know, Brenda and I took a little short vacation and went down to the beach at Charleston area and tried to do a little bit of beachy type stuff. Unfortunately, turns out I'm not nearly as well as I had hoped I would do, but we did it. We made a trip first. You know what? I lied about that. I said that's my first long trip in the car, but my first long trip in the car was really when I went up to your mom and dad's with you guys.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot about that. I was actually in better shape then. So old Tammy's got to get back in the gym now for sure. This week things change around here. At least they do after my birthday cake's gone. I get my birthday cake, by God. So anyway, we're going to talk. One of the things that we were looking for down there were shark's teeth, and we're going to just talk about that a little bit this morning. Mark is a fan, and Mark, he's busy. Bear with him a minute. He's definitely having some problems. You saw a video of a great white. That pops up here, Tina. Saw a video of a great white taking a fish from a fishing line while the fisherman was actively trying to bring it in. That happens. I've heard of that too. And I've seen them come up. Sometimes the fish gets to the boat and all there is the head. or sometimes, like you say, they take it right at the boat. The shark comes up right at the boat and grabs it. It just depends. But I've seen that too. Or I've not seen one lately, but I have seen it. Seen pictures of it happening.
You see kayak fishermen doing that sometimes, and the shark is way bigger than their boat.
That would be kind of scary.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, all things considered, a kayak is not necessarily where I would want to be, and there's a great white shark about. Oh man, hope Ian makes it. I've got something I want to show Ian bad. I have a video of U.S. Air Force government video about safety in the water when sharks are around. He would love it. I might play a little bit of it anyway. It's a train film, so you can imagine how good that is. So let me set it up here, and I'll get ready to show a few slides. So Carol, it's becoming an official show because I've got slides. Looks like I did not put it on this side of the board. Mark, I believe you've told me that you have found shark's teeth out your way, or at least one.
Me?
No, that wasn't that. No, maybe that was in Ohio. Where was that? No, that was in Tennessee.
That was right down the road from the house in Tennessee.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
But I'm sure it was brought there by
It was, but it's still
a human.
It's still cool to think about it getting to Jonesboro or the Nolichucky River. Okay, this is the one I want, and here we go. And away we go. Now I put that we're not really talking about sharks per se, although we will a little bit. But this picture, I believe, well, I'm not positive. This could just be a still photo. But a few years ago, somebody was doing research on great whites, and they were out filming them with high-speed cameras because people were absolutely amazed at the height they could get off the water. And in this particular instance, they were chasing seals. And the seals would leap out of the water, and they could get really high. I mean, 5-6 feet above the water. These sharks could jump up, clear the water, and grab a seal amongst those sharp teeth of theirs and just bite down on it big time. It was amazing to watch that they could. They were much more agile out of the water than I thought they would be.
Yeah, if you ever watch Shark Week, they've been filming these guys now for about 20 years, it seems like.
Yeah, I guess they've been.
Every year they have a new, like, air jaws or air something.
Well, that shows you how behind I am.
And it's a bad day if you're a seal.
Yeah, it is. So anyway,
and there's some of those seals that are pretty good at evading them.
Yeah.
They feel that pressure wave coming and they just start juking and jiving and getting the heck out of there. And it's kind of fun to watch. But
probably a little bit like the bear story. The slowest guy probably gets that.
Yeah.
So please consider hitting the like button, guys, if you hadn't already. And subscribing to the channel if you feel up to that, and leave a comment. Apparently all these things help YouTube promote the channel. Not that I'm want to get too promoted, but a little bit maybe. So I just thought I would start with this guy because he's sort of the most, well, I'm going to bounce back actually, but this is Let me make sure I didn't skip somebody. So I thought I would start with him because ever since Jaws came out, great white sharks have been infamous and famous, and that's what you hear about a lot. And the movie Jaws kind of, and the book Jaws, turned them into pretty much a vicious killer. And they, I guess you could say they're a pretty efficient predator. Maybe they are vicious killers, but they're not. They're not really man eaters. They don't, and usually even if they attack people, which they do, they don't usually eat them. They usually bite them and let them go. I got a feeling we don't taste all that good, but who knows? But the reason I put this picture up there was because of that mouth. And look at those teeth. And I got a couple of pictures of them. And that's what we're sort of talking about this morning, shark teeth. And I've got a couple of pictures of fossilized, no, not fossilized, skeletonized the jaws. And the teeth system on a shark is unbelievable. So the great white, and I'm not even going to say that. Well, maybe I will. Carcharodon, Carcarius.
Carcharodon calcareus. That's it.
That's it. And that in Greek that stands for badass MF. And they're usually found in cooler waters, and they're usually found, most of the time they're found around the coast. But they have documented a few, and I don't know if this is mostly males. I read the one I was tracking and reading about were males, but I don't know if it's just males. Do get out and travel deep water sometimes, and it's amazing. They've documented a couple of white sharks that have gone from the western coast of Africa all the way over to Australia and back again, which is quite a long swim. I know one shark, they said, had done that in a 9-month period, and I can't remember if the other one was shorter or longer than that. They average 15 feet in length. So think about that for a minute. Figure out how tall you are and figure out how many times bigger they are. But there have been documented findings, whether they be carcasses or live fish caught, that were over 20 feet long. That's 2 basketball goals high. That's way up there. And they weigh it and can weigh it. Those can weigh up to 5,000 pounds. That's not common to get that big. But this animal doesn't reach sexual maturity until they're about 30, 40 years old, which I didn't realize. But, and like I said, they're thought not to consider humans as prey. But, but there's what the teeth. Their teeth with new teeth. There's always a new tooth ready to replace one broken while attacking prey, and apparently that is a thing. They break and pull them out pretty much every time they attack something if it's big, which I didn't realize. And I don't know if they just fall out from time to time or pull out from the root, but that's how you usually find them.
Yeah, they just roll. They're like on a conveyor belt, and they roll out to the edge of the gum, and they just fall out.
Do they ever stop producing teeth?
No. Well, yeah, when they're dead.
Okay, when they're dead.
But they, and they've got those that particular species got those big blades up on the top and those pointy teeth on the bottom, because they do 2 different. One of them grabs the prey and one of them cuts it in half.
Makes sense, I guess.
But you can see those big wide ones,
Now these are megadon. This is a reproduction of a megadon jaw. And you can see that even then there's row after row of teeth here. I really didn't understand some of this because they
look upside down.
Something is weird about this front row of teeth. I don't understand that either. Oh yeah, now I do.
I see what they're doing. They're dark.
Here's the tooth. This is the root, I suppose. And
the gray part is the root.
Yeah. And then this, the connective tissue, maybe I could call it here. That's what that is. And there's row upon row upon row that. And if you're any good with a ruler, look at this. Look at this guy beside on the tape measures there. That tooth is 8 from the tip of this root to the tip of this tooth is 8 inches long. Now that's pretty dang big.
Yeah.
That could do serious damage.
They were whale eaters.
They had to be whale eaters. I mean, and I saw a picture, and they still do attack whales some whales are still prey animals, and they've actually been known to bite some really big ones. But I saw a picture of a whale that was probably 20 or 30 feet long, washed up on a beach, and it had several places where they'd bitten chunks out of it. So they still do attack whales. I don't know how big not Megs. Megs don't exist. White sharks do.
Yeah, and they're huge scavengers.
Yeah.
If they find a floating whale carcass, it's like ringing the dinner bell.
And here's some big old Meg teeth too. This guy's got this one's in 2 hands. You know, this guy down here is pretty good size. Brenda's got one that's probably half that size. And I don't know. Hey, Space Mountain Dave, 4 out of 5. Carol says that 4 out of 5 dentists recommend sugarless prey for their patients who chew prey. Now, some of us can remember those commercials. Some of you may not. 4 out of 5 dentists recommend sugarless prey. Now, they don't want to eat me then. I'm safe because I'm damn sure not sugarless. That's why they're so grouchy. They always have tooth pain. Well, that could be too, Tina. When you have a constantly move, you travel pretty far. Well, that's true too, Tina. They don't stand still very much. Or these guys don't ever, I don't reckon, from the time they're born. Mike says he just has 1 or 2 people in mind that he might feed to that shark. Mike. Okay, what else have I maybe missed down through here? Carol, keep up the good work. That was an excellent line there. And Mike, you too. Well, no names though. Don't mention any names. But this is what we were kind of looking for. And I'm going to show you a couple of clips, I think, here at the end of this. They actually find a lot of these in that area where we were at. And they do find a lot of these in Florida. But it's usually not on the beach. They're usually found back in inland creeks and things, and sometimes a long way from the beach. Some of the best fossilized shark teeth, I didn't want to move that yet. Some of the best sites to hunt big teeth is actually up these muddy creek bottoms where they wade up in there and do, shovelfuls and put it into a screen and shake the screen out. And they find a lot of big teeth that way. But there's 2 or 3 people around Charleston area that actually specialize in this in their area, and they are actually paleontologists and probably supplementing their income by doing tours. And I seriously thought about getting one for Brenda. I wanted to let them go out they take you out in a boat and take you to some of the islands or the edges of places you can't get to from the land. And that's where they do a lot of their tooth hunting. And they find a lot of this stuff down there, megalodon teeth and great whites and, fossilized tiger shark teeth. They find some other stuff, but those are the 3 that they seem to find most of the time. I don't know. They find some bull shark teeth and things like that, but they. Oh, that's phone. I thought you had some bird out there. Brave bird. But anyway, this is a chart, just some relative sizes of teeth and some variations thereof. But these aren't labeled, so I'm not going to attempt to name them all. Although most of them, I guess, are they're mega tooth or megalon versions of the same things. Anyway, you know what I'm saying. And I found this is a pretty good chart. You can look these up online, but this has got a good variation of what is out there, from bull shark teeth here to lemon sharks, which are very much like the somewhat shaped, not the root's not, but somewhat shaped like the sand shark, and tiger sharks. I mean, look, this is a tiger shark tooth right here. And you can see it's much longer. It's more like a kind of reminds me of, if you think about dinosaurs, it kind of reminds me more of the T-Rex teeth, because they tend to be big and round, grabbers, I guess, and rippers maybe. But they don't have the same kind of sharp edge that some of the others do. And this chart has a bunch of stuff in it. There's vertebrae right down here, and they picked quite a few of those up around Charleston area too. One of the things they didn't have, I don't think, on any of the charts like this that I found, I don't think any of them had. There's a shark vertebra. None of them had hammerhead shark teeth. And so I looked them up to see what they look like, and they're not so different, but they are different. But nobody seemed to show them. At least if they're on here, I haven't found them. There's a snaggletooth tooth. I thought that is a snaggletooth shark. I didn't know that. And there's a dolphin tooth. Porcupine fish tooth. Whoa, back up. I thought these were nice. This is how they take care of their teeth. They're apparently orthodontist business of the ocean's pretty good. Or whatever it's called, the guys that put on braces. That's what frozen birds sound like, Tina. Their last dying breaths. Oh, sorry, Mike. Or was that, maybe I was meant to show that one. Shoot, now I lost the place. Sharks, I have. Dave, I don't understand that. Sharks, I have several. I read the shark. I'm sure that was probably autocorrect messing that up. That's how they get their iron. I just thought that was funny. A couple of funny pictures. Sort of made me think of the Finding Nemo movie. And this is how they're laid out in their jaws. And this is just fascinates me. I mean, look at this. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 rows of teeth. And they're counting out 4 rows this way. So if you can count that back. But this goes literally around there. Look at this. Look at this thing on top here. I mean, that's scary just to look at. I wonder how long it takes these teeth to grow individually. Let's not be too long. And then there's, you're muted, Mark.
Yeah, it was on purpose.
Oh, okay. And this, I don't know what this set of jaws down here was out of. But this looks like, well, I don't know. I started saying great whites, but I'm not sure. That may be. But I just thought these were fascinating. And here is another great white shark picture, and it's a good tooth there. You can see the serrations down the side and the general shape. And up here's another one. And these are both fossilized or prehistoric sharks' teeth. They're always black or dark color. As you can see, when they come out, they're pearly white. I'm looking at this shark's open grin. And the reason they're called whites is their underside is white all the way around. And this is a camouflage scheme on those, because from below you can't hardly see them. From above you can't hardly see them.
They're painted like airplanes.
Painted like military airplanes, at least.
Yep.
Here's a tiger shark. You can look at the. This is supposed to be a tiger shark tooth up here.
That's a tiger shark. The one below that is a sand tiger shark.
Okay, that's a sand
the one
tiger.
you were talking about earlier, that long, skinny one.
Yeah,
that's a different species.
And these guys, and I guess it's got spots like that, but I saw some that actually look like they've got stripes on them if you get the light right. So I guess that is where they get their name. I wasn't sure if it was from that or because they were ferocious or something, but these teeth are unique. You can see this catch, kind of what I call this catch notch here. I mean, I could see that locking in, and and then
they bite sea turtles in half.
Oh well, there you go.
They've got those teeth are designed to break just about anything. They found suits of armor in their bellies.
Really?
They'll eat anything, license plates, pieces of tires, whatever. They call them the garbage cans of the sea.
So are whites bad about that too? Because I've heard that about great whites, but that's probably a misnomer.
No, they just eat marine mammal. Well, not solely. They eat a lot of fish too, but they eat mostly marine mammals.
Well, I didn't realize until I really started reading up a little bit about the teeth that the tigers, and watching sharks on that O-search or whatever that's called. How big some of these tigers get. They're almost as big as a great white. I mean,
yeah, I don't think they ever get the weight, but they darn sure get the length.
Oh yeah, but they do get up pretty darn heavy. They and bigger, heavier than I thought. Sharks have better manners than what. I missed something there, but I'm sure it was humorous. That's just wrong on so many levels, Tina said. That's just their teeth are just incredible to me. Their whole dental system to me is pretty much incredible. And I don't know, Mark, tell me before I make an ass out of myself. Sharks are cartilaginous or have mostly cartilage in their system. They don't have bones. But are the mandibles bone? Do you know?
They're cartilage too.
So they're cartilage too. So
the only bone they've got in their body is basically teeth.
Their teeth. Well, that's what I thought.
I mean, even their backbone is cartilaginous.
Yeah.
And for some reason, some of those seem to fossilize occasionally, but not very often. I don't think they're very common fossils, but the all the soft parts.
Yeah. Well, right, because they're not bone.
But the teeth, because each individual has so many teeth, shark's teeth are some of the most common fossils on the planet.
I believe that.
If you're in the right place.
They're not all big ones.
They're cool.
Yeah, and they're cool. I've scooped up sand in certain places down there. Or not might have been in Myrtle Beach last time we'd been down there years ago with my mom and dad, and you'd find this sort of a black streak in the sand, and if you scoop that up or sifted that out, it would just literally be a handful of little tiny shark's teeth. What tiny by these standards? I mean, you could tell what they were. They were shark teeth, but I mean, I was amazed. I'd never seen them in that kind of quantities. I never really looked for them like that, to be honest. And I just love this frontal view. This is a
sand tiger.
That's a sand shark or tiger or what?
Sand tiger.
But look at those teeth.
And there, that tooth in the middle on that upper picture is a sand tiger tooth.
Yeah, and this was probably
that's an actual tiger shark.
Tiger, yeah.
And there's a white shark beside it.
Yeah, these aren't fossilized teeth. Say hi, Daddy.
There's a bull shark tooth.
You just getting up to say hello? You gonna say hi to anybody? Huh? You gonna say hi? Come here. Now, you want to look at sharks? You gonna look at sharks? You ought to at least say hi to Carol while you're in here. While you're up here. Or you gonna go to sleep? You might go to sleep. They find a lot of these sand tiger shark teeth down there too, fossilized and otherwise, on the beaches down around Charleston. I don't know why. I don't know if their currents are bringing stuff like that in from other parts of the world or what, but the paleontologist guys that go out and take people out on tours and tooth hunt seem to pick up a lot of sand tigers. And they look at them so much they can name them all off. It's amazing. Makes me feel kind of embarrassed. Here's a whole bunch of them. You can see how narrow they are. Some of these are more rounded than they are sharp to me.
Yeah, sand tigers are fish eaters, and they just grab them and hold on to them and eventually swallow them.
And here you can see a comparison between great white shark teeth and the megalodon teeth, these big guys. So that big shark in the movies, while not, currently out there, certainly did exist. Some of these are really pretty. If you look at the color, and that's I'm going to say that's a great white drawing, but I'm not positive of that. I think I've got a size representation here in a minute too, and that's pretty amazing. And here's just another chart of whole bunches of teeth in sections. And here, wow, that'd be cool to find. That's almost a whole backbone there, a fossilized vertebra. But you can look at this and you can see that there's a lot of different kinds. I thought these were pretty amazing up here at the top. This D and E and maybe AB, but these old ones, they thought some of these with this extra hook on the teeth were actually a precursor to megalodon. So in other words, something that came even before megalodon did. And again, you see these are more like pegs than they are, razors high. And it's a little, they're different than these, but seals have teeth much like this too, that are more peggish looking than sharp, or they're pointy, but they're more, the ones I've seen anyway, they're more round and tapered. They're not like these other sharks' teeth. And toothed whale sharks tend to be that way. There it is. There's the lateral cusplet and the central cusp here. These are the serrations that make them cut flesh so well. Down he goes. Move on along. But it's fun and exciting to pick these things up on the beach. I know when Brenda came home with hers, that's the biggest one she's ever found so far to date. It was just pretty exciting. Again, another chart. These are found off Texas's coast in the Gulf, or shells or teeth that have been picked up down that way. And again, this is some kind of probably a sand tiger or something here in the middle. It's fossilized and left, picked up. But what you see a lot of times, the guy that was the paleontologist guy. I'm gonna turn my camera off a minute. I'll keep talking. The paleontologist guy was showing that a lot of times what you see sticking up, or what you see on the surface of the sand, is that root, which is black, but it looks, if you didn't know what it was, it looks a lot like a rock or something. So he was showing that you start wiping the sand off of it and it becomes bigger and you start to see what's really there. Pretty cool. I'm not sure what this one is. I honestly couldn't find it, but I thought it was such a cool looking tooth that I wanted to put it in there. Again, more sand tigers. Now, I thought these were really cool. Weapons using shark's teeth. So instead of having arrowheads chipped out of flint, peoples that lived along the ocean and coast or the islands where these things were common, they made weapons out of them, which was probably a pretty good idea. I'm going to stand like this for a minute. I thought that was pretty cool. Where'd my cursor go? I've lost my cursor. There it is. Again, just more morphology of a shark's tooth with serrations and notches. All these things catch or cut up their food in different ways. And here's a handful of those little guys I was talking about a minute ago. And this chart over here on the far right shows commonly found teeth in Florida. Makos, sand sharks, lemon sharks. I'm not sure what those tigers, bulls, sand. I said that probably. And I'm not sure what a hemipriestess is or priestess is. I'm not sure about that. I've looked that up. I'm not sure if I don't think that's a hammerhead, but it might be. And there's a pile of them up on the top. But you can really find them like that. I mean, sometimes you pick them up and they're tiny, but there'll just be gobs of them like that. Gobs is a Tennessee mountain word, in case you don't know what gobs is, what gobs mean. Okay. Dave wants to scuba dive around sharks. And you know what, Dave? That's a lot more people do that kind of thing than they used to. I guess if you know what you're doing. And Diana says she doesn't think she wants to swim in the ocean anymore. Sorry, Diana. Diana said hi. I'm sure Carol said hi. Oh my God, imagine that mouth coming at you. I think that would be kind of scary, Diana. I don't think that'd be a lot of fun. In any sense of the word. Carol says she's got some family that's going to do Discovery Cove. That's I don't know what they've got in there, Carol, but that'd be interesting. I know they're around safer sharks and probably smaller sharks. And if you remember far enough back at Disney World, when they first brought in Typhoon Lagoon, they had a I don't want to call it a swimming pool. It's certainly not that, but they had an area that had lots of ocean fishes in it, and they had sharks in it. But they were not very big sharks, and they weren't kind that would be aggressive. They were not nurse, but they were some kind of. They were a spotted shark, but I can't remember what they were called. But anyway, you could actually swim with those sharks, and you know, and that it was just pretty cool. I mean, if you never thought you could swim with sharks. Okay, Mike. What is Doug saying? I used to have many shark's teeth, but through the years I've lost them all. Just do what Tackleberry did in Police Academy. Take big and hold the shark till it leaves. Be like Jaws and James Bond. Jaws just bit the shark's back. And this is where we went. I wanted to throw this in there in case you didn't know where these were or what it was. And that's the pier out there. I did not take these pictures or that picture at the top, which was just, I thought, a really cool shot of the sun rising. But this is Folly Beach and Folly Island. Morris Island is right here. There's a really cool lighthouse right here. And one of these guys that goes out with people and finds shark's teeth a lot drops people off along this Morris Island coast, shore, which is you can walk out to the lighthouse when the water's down, but when the water's up high tides, you can't get to it. It's all underwater. And I don't know how deep it actually gets on the island, but normally. But Charleston, up. Charleston is right. This is Charleston Bay right here. And I think, well, I may not be right. Fort Sumter's right up in here too. And across the cove is Fort Monroe and some of the other forts. This whole coastal area is covered in forts of various ages because they were always trying to protect these harbors and things from pirates and seaborne enemies and the British and French or whatever the case might have been. And sometimes, and I don't know if these were or not, but there were some of these old areas that remained as forts up into the 40s. And they actually had them out there looking for German submarines during World War II and found them. There are several, or quite a few of them that were sank off the coast of North and South Carolina. And that's the end for that part. So I just thought we'd talk about them for a little bit. And let me do this, and then I need to do this to make it not be crazy. And I'm going to shut that for now. And what time is it? That took me. Oh, that didn't take too long. I meant to do something for April Fool's, but I got started and I just forgot all about it. So I didn't do an April Fool's joke. I meant to. But you've found a few teeth over the years, though, have you not, in different places? I mean, I guess coastal, or have you only got the one?
Me?
Yeah, you.
No, I found a few on the coast, and not very many though. I just haven't been in good country for that.
I mean, I'm sure you can find them basically on any beach, but some areas seem to be a lot more prolific, like this. I know I'm going to show this too, so let me work on this too while I'm at it. But I've got a couple of.
But they've got inland sites like up in Montana. Like up by the Judith Basin in Montana, they find whole fossilized sharks up there, and they're weird little sharks, from way back.
Well, I'm going to pull up a couple of quick little videos that I just want people to see, and if they want them, I'll put the links in the chat here. Paleo Discoveries, Paleo Chris. Somebody's asking, are the shark teeth they sell for real? And I'm sure there have been some fakes made over the years, but most of them are indeed real. Let's see if this one. I'm not going to show a lot of this because I don't want to get in trouble or anything, but I recommend you go look if you're interested in the subject. And you can get the general idea. Can you hear that?
Negative.
Maybe I need to just let people look. You're welcome to post your favorite. You've got a couple of favorite sites. But this is a freshwater stream in Florida. No sharks here, but gators would be a real concern.
There's been some guys caught.
Do what?
There's been some guys attacked doing this. Yeah. And maybe, well, I don't know. One guy got like a big gator, like caught him by the head and drug him around for quite some time. So not a very safe activity.
No, it's not. I don't know if I told you this or not, but a friend of mine was in Florida. Oh wow, that's a bucket full of they've sluiced up off the bottom. Come on, reach in there and pull out a great big one. More. That's green. Oh wow, he said all the black is fossilized bone. Huh. Anyway, I posted that link. That's not the. I pulled up something across the screen. Now, a friend of mine was in Florida I don't know how many years ago now, probably 25 years ago. And he was actually in they were one of the clear springs where they take you out in the glass bottom boat kind of thing. And they had big signs up all around the place, no swimming and no snorkeling in the pool. I mean, it was clear water as it could be, but they were starting to have an alligator issue. And he and his kids are standing there actually looking into the water, maybe in the boat bottom. And here goes a big gator swimming across beneath them, and he's got a man in his mouth. He actually carried the guy down towards the end where there was supposed to be a fence to keep gators out or a barrier. And he already had somebody. So the guy was swimming in an area he wasn't supposed to be. And he got chewed on by something he wasn't supposed to be down there looking at, or swimming in an area he wasn't supposed to be. Let me see if I can find Brenda's favorite one. Wyoming. We found sharks in Wyoming. And this is the same guy, but I won't. How long is that? No, it's 17 minutes. This is the guy, or one of the guys anyway. And he is from Charleston Fossil Adventures, and he's actually a paleontologist. Like I said, I don't know at what level, but I'll put that in there. What is Tina saying? I saw that beautiful Michigan sweatshirt. This must be a good video. I missed that. I didn't see the Michigan sweatshirt. Sorry. Did you check the ratings on these videos you're about to show us? I don't believe there's anything here that will require parental permission, Tina. I was going to pull one of this guy's videos up here. Make a Wish and a Megalodon. No, here's one. I wish I could figure out why you can't hear the video. I used to do this and you guys can hear it.
And then they banned you from being able to do it.
Well, they did, but that one show, though. They didn't ban me forever. Here's this guy. Brenda's been watching this guy, and what I'm going to click on here, when I turn this on, what you're going to see is him showing what I was saying a minute ago about you're walking along the beach and you just see something that looks like a rock. Check it, because it may not be. So here we go. Da-dum, da-dum, da-dum.
Ashby Gale. That's a cool name. Sounds like you should be on the Gone with the Wind or something.
Sounds like it should be what?
On the Gone with the Wind.
Oh, can you hear it?
No, I just saw his name.
Oh, Ashley.
Well, his is Ashby, but
okay, close enough. So this is he finds this guy, and he does take people out. Like I said, I didn't look up to see if he has a day job at the university down there, but there's several schools in the Charleston area, so I suspect he does. And there's a vertebra he picked up. That's a big skinny tooth. But he does this all the time, and he takes people out they do the stream checks just like they were doing in Florida, but they do a lot of them along these coastal beaches where there's a pretty good tide in and out in the salt marshes. I mean, look, of course, he could have salted the beach first, I suppose, but I suspect not. I think he's really picking these up.
Yeah, and there's a beach on the west side of Florida that's like every single rock is a shark's tooth.
That's so wild. But I believe that because I've seen a creek that was that way. Every natural rock in that stream was a fossil, and Mark showed me that years ago. And after a while, you become a believer after you've picked up a few dozen rocks, and every one of them's a fossil, or every one of them has a fossil in it. And it's amazing when you get into that kind of a load. So same thing here, you could get into, a month's worth of shark's teeth and just be just find more than you'd ever imagine. They may not all be big ones, but they're shark's teeth. I offered to take Brenda somewhere to buy one just so she could come home with a big one, but she refuses. Her integrity is stronger than I thought. But anyway, and that's the same thing. I mean, he's talking about wet surface, but I think he's going to be sluicing that out in the box. And maybe he's just letting the water actually wash the sand off him. But just to be able to walk along and pick up shark's teeth to me would be amazing. And you guys see that now, or did it go away?
It's gone.
Okay. I wasn't sure if I had clicked it or not.
He gone.
He gone. So anyway.
You've been rolling something.
I've saved this for last. Not last, actually. I got some other stuff I'm going to put up in a minute, but I saved this for Ian, and I'm sure Ian's not here. So maybe I'll put the link in here. Maybe Ian will come back and watch this later. We won't watch much of it. This is an actual training film that the U.S. Air Force did for any of their pilots that might go down over in the ocean where it was shark infested. So please join me in this very lively and entertaining production. If you believe that, I got some swampland that I need to sell. Quick. Ready, set, go. From 1964, mind you. And I'm gonna suggest that once you watch this, that there's not many of these things I think I would actually try today. I believe we've come a long way since this film was done. And I'm sure they released something like this in World War II, because there was a lot of, especially in the Pacific, a lot of naval aviators went down or marine aviators went down in the ocean. So I'm sure they did something like this. And that's what I was really looking for, but I found this one instead. So this is in honor of Ian. So we'll watch this for a few minutes, and we, oh God, you guys can't hear it. I want
Your
you
TF 5589 Bravo.
Yeah, I put the link in the chat there a minute ago. Diana's saying they found teeth and cartilage from a shark up here, which would be up in Canada. They were trying to preserve the cartilage. Oh, so it was still soft. That's interesting. I wonder how old they thought it was. Do you know, Diana? Okay, here we go. I wish you could hear it. I don't apologize that you can't. Man, I wish I knew how to make it do that. I'm going to try something. Bear with me. I don't know why I think this might change anything, but I'm going to try it anyway. I'm going to click this. Now, see if we can hear it now.
No.
Still can't?
No, it just got littler.
Turn closed captioning. I need to read something. He's wicked.
El Tigre.
Look for share tab audio. Is that would be that? Okay, hang on a minute. I don't see anything. I see audio, but I don't see that option. Recordings, hot layouts. Yes, I don't. I don't see anything that says that. Darn it! I don't know if there's a tab somewhere else that shows that. Oh, wait a minute. Let's see if this works. No, that's if I've got a video. Well, now it's messed that up. I don't see it. I don't see anything, Carol. We used to be underwater. Yeah, the ocean was connected with Hudson's Bay to the Gulf of Mexico, and we were tropical. Yeah, wouldn't that be nice, Carol? Mark's area was probably tropical too. Carol, I don't know where that's at. I'm not finding that on this system, but this video is actually quite kind of funny. The things they were telling the down flyers to do. Talking about if you have an injury, you need to tie it up. Basically, they're warning you if you do anything in the water, they're going to come get you. So here he's cutting bait. Now, where he got the bait, I don't know. Oh, maybe he's eating that fish. But he's throwing his, they're telling him to make sure you throw your waste materials far away. Anyway, I looked this up and read about it a little bit, and most of it's been changed now because they had them doing things like tearing up scraps of paper and throwing it out around the boat, the floating boat, so it would distract sharks' attention, so they wouldn't attack the boat. They'd go after the floating paper. Disposing of waste, throwing it away from the boat. They had they showed a guy trying to hit the boat with something he had in his survival kit from the airplane, and the guy that was doing it looked like he couldn't, like he'd never tried to hit anything with something in his life. He wouldn't have been any good at rat killing because he never would have hit one. And but it was just kind of funny. The whole thing was really outdated, and they talked about the Air Force and they might have even said Navy was trying to come up with shark repellent, which I've read about that too, and I don't think they've found anything yet that really worked. One of them is just a dye pack that kind of hid your body from the vision of the shark, although none of that stuff's going to last very long. No, that's okay, Carol. I get that. I appreciate the idea because it's probably on here somewhere because I've done it before, but I don't know why I can't do it anymore. And I'll probably turn something off. Oh, I thought I'd messed up there big time. So I don't know. I don't know how to do it. I'm going to find out how to do it. So that when I want to do this again, I can make sure I put Ian asleep if he's here. So anyway, let's see what anybody else is saying over here. Not a whole lot. Mike, Tina, not Mike. He's muted still. I don't know if he means me. I was going to tell him make sure he saw what Tina said. Tina thinks you're looking out the window trying to envision palm trees. Let's talk a little bit about
palms and sycamores and alligators and big turtles, and here. They were all here.
Let's talk a little bit about that trip you made. You and Shauna went to the Outer Banks, and I don't remember if you said you saw sharks in the water, but you saw dolphins doing something cool. Well, cool if you're like a biologist or some people that are curious. Probably not cool if you don't like blood and guts and gore. But Mark saw dolphins doing a hunting behavior that not everybody knew they did until recently. And when I say recently, that could be 20 years. I don't know. I know in 1996, I saw them do it, or at least similar effort. And that's where they bubble and they swim around and they herd up fish and they work them until they can just use their tail or their body or some part of their anatomy to push fish up on the shore. And they'll literally swim up, kind of temporarily lodge themselves on the beach and grab fish. And you saw them do that to like a whole
it was a big school of mullet.
School of mullet, yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
Probably 50 feet across.
Wow.
And there was lots of dolphins.
Yeah.
And they circled them, and it was violent. I mean, it was like we were in a kayak just right pretty close to them. And it was total violence and death and destruction. And I think they killed all of them. They were big mullets, about a foot long. And they
corn
the whole surface of the water just turned red and oily and scales and
wow. So
they were in 2 feet, 3 feet of water. We had been wading around out there fishing the whole time we'd been.
They got them up into shallow water, but they didn't push them up on the beach.
No, it wasn't. There was no beach there. We were at the tail end of a salt marsh, and it was that. It wasn't sandy. it was the water went right up to the grass.
Oh, okay.
And they shoved them up into that, and like I said, when we first saw them, we first saw the dolphins. Shauna was like, "Oh, look, dolphins," and I was like, "Hold on." When we go like out, and we figured out they weren't sharks. We went out and got in the middle of them, and you could see. I mean, they were right by us. And jumping out of the water, some of those bottlenoses were jumping like 10 feet out of the water.
Wow.
It was crazy. And the water's not that deep there. And, but yeah, they got those mullets up there and started circling them and killed them and killed them and killed them and killed them. And it was just, and Sean at first said, "Oh, look, they're playing," because they were like chasing each other in a circle. And I'm like, oh, there's no play going on.
It might be fun for the Dolphins, but I tell you right now, they're not playing nice with the
They
mullet.
ain't playing nice with the mullets, no.
Well, they found some pods. I guess dolphins are considered pods since they're mammalian or whatever, but they'll actually blow bubbles around a school of fish to get them balled up.
Yeah.
And what I saw in Florida was they would swim and they would get them balled up, but they'd push them closer to the beach. Or, when I say beach, it was just, they were sandy areas, but narrow. And on these islands that we were working on, and they actually would push them up. They pushed them up on the beach or the sand, and then they would get them that way. That they were basically stranding them. And it was just kind of a small pod. There were adults and some, I would say, juveniles and aged fish or dolphins, and maybe some younger ones than that. But there wasn't a huge mob there or a pod. It was like 15, 20 fish. Damn it, I don't mean fish. Excuse me. Dolphins. But it was cool to see. I mean, I don't think I'd ever seen them do that up to that point. And now I've read or seen a lot of stuff about how different pods will have kind of different methods. Orcas do it too, and very similar stuff. And which is there's interesting stories about that too. Orcas they talk about the great white being the largest predatory fish on the planet today, but orcas are even bigger and they're predatory, especially when it comes to white sharks. Apparently, white shark liver is quite appetizing for an orca, which I think is kind of neat too. They can viscerate a white shark and nothing flat, and pretty much all they eat's the certain internal organs, mostly the liver, if I'm not mistaken. Probably lots of vitamins in that.
You talking about the orcas killing white sharks?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, they're sorry, I was having another conversation. They just gut them and cut that liver out and eat that, and then that rest of it decomposes.
You did, Wood. Welcome in. We were just kind of adding to. We've been talking about sharks' teeth and sharks and habits of predatory fishes, I guess. And one of the things we were talking about was how orcas. We were talking about great white sharks, and then we were talking about how orcas prey on the largest fish predator in the ocean is a great white, but a more vicious predator is not vicious, but they take on the white sharks, and that's an orca, and they'll viscerate them and take out their liver and eat the liver. And they do it so precisely. It's the people that have seen it and witnessed it now say it's amazing. I don't know if there is an orca emoji, is there? I don't think there is. I don't remember.
And those populations of white sharks, and they're the big ones, like the big females. They just leave. When the orcas show up and start eating them, apparently they put some kind of a chemical as they're decomposing out into the water. And those whole populations, like the sharks off the California coast, they just picked up and they all swam like deep in the ocean all the way to Hawaii.
Yeah.
Like, we're out of here.
They're getting out of here. I guess orcas are primarily a shore, kind of like white sharks normally are. A shore. Oh, how would I describe that? They tend to hang near the coastline. Coastal predators, coastal mammals. I'm sure sometimes they're in deeper water, but oh me, what time is it? 11:42. We'll be out here by noon. And you need to go, Mark? Do you need to go take care of other things, or you
Well,
good?
I'm leaving for Texas in the morning, so I'm trying to get some stuff squared away.
Oh, I thought you were leaving Monday morning.
No, I'm leaving. I'm going down to Fort Collins tomorrow and staying with my buddy, and then we're going Monday. We will be leaving Monday from his house.
And tell everybody what kind of fun you're going to be having.
Well, I'm going to go turkey hunt, turkeys and pigs.
Turkeys and pigs in Texas.
Hopefully bring back buku meat.
I have a question about that. Do you have to worry about the pork this time of year? I mean, we used to always be told you don't kill pigs when it's warm because you could get trichinosis or whatever. And I don't even know if that's true, but
No, we don't. We've killed hundreds of them down there, and
well, that's what I thought.
we made them all, and so yeah, not a concern.
You guys usually cook one or two down there while you're down there, or put them in the ground, or
We tried to barbecue a little one while we're down there.
yeah. Well, sounds like a fun trip to me.
Everybody's on orders to shoot a porker for eat camp meat.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's handy.
We don't always get it done though. Some year they've had years where they've worked the pigs over too hard, or they had disease issues or whatever, and they're just down, and apparently it's supposed to be okay this year, so we'll see.
That's the thing about feral hogs, is they don't take very long to build populations back up once they get down.
Yeah, I mean those pigs have like 4 or 5 litters a year down there, so.
And those litters can be 10, 12 pigs or more sometimes.
Yeah, so it doesn't take them long to come roar them back. But.
Well, you have fun while you're down there and enjoy yourself.
I'm going to try to.
I'm sure you will. You can send me a picture sometime.
I'll just, you get to see roadrunners and armadillos and cool stuff like that, so it's fun.
And lay in the sun?
And lay in the sun. I may just find a sandy dune spot and lay down and not move for a week.
And won't it be terrible if you get a big lake blizzard in northern Texas while you're down there?
We've had that. We went down a couple years ago, and it was 60 or 70 degrees in Wyoming the whole time we were down there, and it was about 35 down there. So it happens.
Well, that's panhandle country, pretty much, isn't it? I mean, and that happens.
Well, we're around the corner from the panhandle.
Oh, okay. I know
Bottom,
they get bad weather out there sometimes.
bottom of the panhandle. They get plenty of bad weather, but
Wichita Falls is not too far from there, I don't
yeah,
think.
just straight east.
I can remember reading about Wichita Falls a lot when nobody else was getting it. They seemed to be getting a winter blast or something. So I could see why you might not know for sure.
It's supposed to be in the 70s and 80s, so
Oh, wow.
I
That'll
think,
feel good.
and that is if I can get out of Wyoming, because the highway's been closed all morning this morning, so I couldn't even leave today.
Wow.
So
what happens then? Do they go on or they wait?
Central Wyoming on Monday is supposed to get 25 inches of snow.
Holy mackerel.
Oh yeah, nothing but good times this year.
Are you considered in that swath or are you east
No,
west?
but I got to go through it.
Okay. Yeah.
But I'm going tomorrow. Hopefully, beat the storm.
Yeah.
But they're just having terrible winds in eastern Wyoming, right? Central and eastern Wyoming, and yesterday the highway was closed because of semi truck wrecks. The winds were just flipping them over, and so the highway was closed.
So which highway is that? The interstate or just
I-80.
Yeah.
Kay wants some snow.
He would love to, Kay.
I'd send all of it, Kay.
Maybe next train that comes through there and gets stopped, you could fill up a couple of cars and send back east.
I have farm buildings I can't see because of the snow.
He has a truck he hasn't seen since November. That's a boon year for snow. If you were harvesting snow this year, you'd be a rich man, buddy.
Yes, sir.
Too bad you can't think of something to dig it up and do with it. Okay, says they're having wind advisories today. I think that's one of the reasons we left a little bit early. We thought about staying down till Friday yesterday, but there was supposed to be bad weather down that way, down the Charleston way. At least that's what it looked like. I don't know what they got, but and it was supposed to be worse up here yesterday, and it rained off and on. It was kind of gloomy yesterday here, but it wasn't as bad as I thought. But last night it was. I got woke up in the middle of the night by some pretty loud thunder boomers, so it got a little bit rough around here. Plus, Chloe was hiding from about 7 o'clock on. She wouldn't come out in the living room. She was hiding somewhere under a bed. If you harvest snow in South Carolina, you'd be broke. Yeah, I'm afraid so. But if you could ship it to South Carolina and spray it around on somebody's lawn, you might be a rich man. People might pay for that. I bet people in Florida would pay for that. I don't know how you'd ever make that work, but all right, guys, it's 10 till. I'm going to cut it short. Mark needs to go, and I'm starting to wiggle way too much, and I need to go find another pill for my achy joints and move around here a little bit. So I'm going to cut everybody loose a few minutes early. I hope you all have. Hey, there's speaking of speaking of orcas, there's Blue Nose. His name Onyx is about a particular orca that he has read or has followed Mark over some time. Hi, Chris. Welcome in. So sorry about your dad, buddy. I hope you're doing okay, and everything else too, for that matter. But yeah, Chris knows. He knows about orcas. He was trying to get to Norway, Mark. He was going to go up there and swim with the orcas, And apparently got some dive or wetsuit kind of. I don't know if it's snorkel or scuba or what exactly, but you get to swim with a pod of orcas.
That'd be cool.
It would be cool. And I didn't know this till he told me this, but apparently there's never been a recorded attack of a wild orca attacking a human in the water. So I didn't know that, but that's pretty cool. That makes you feel better.
Just the ones that they have in captivity.
Yeah.
At like SeaWorld or whatever, but
which is another interesting thing or segue a little bit. I just saw in the news this morning. They have a 57-year-old orca at in Miami at an aquarium down there. I don't know if it's SeaWorld or who it is, but they want to release it now, and they're not sure how that's going to work. We talked about this early on, maybe in one of my shows, Mark, before you were out here. They orcas tend to live in family pods, and they're not sure that released orcas back into the wild survive very well because they're not accepted into their family, into a new, not always, sometimes, but they're not always accepted into a different pod. Sea Aquarium, he said, Miami Sea Aquarium. And that's kind of a sad thing when you think about it, because now this one, the one we're talking about here, they say that they know where the mother of that gave birth to that particular orca, I can't think of its name. Anyway, and that she is still alive, and they're going to try to release this back into her pod. But again, they don't know for sure that she will accept it and let it back in. And the female, there's a dominant female that kind of runs these pods, that they're in charge, and they're the matriarch or whatever. And it's kind of up to her if you get to stay in the pod or not. Speaking of a train, there it comes.
There it comes.
We might have to talk
it's
about
it. It's coming around the track.
Don't know. How's that go? No, that's a different song.
I hear the train coming. It's coming around the bend.
Oh, maybe that is the right song then.
The bend, not the track.
Yeah, the bend, not the track.
I ain't seen the sunshine since I don't know when. I'm stuck in Folsom Prison.
You sing that like a pro.
Ain't that the song?
Yeah, it is. Diana says, I think it's wrong to keep them in captivity on so many levels, and it makes her sad. I guess I do too. But at the same time, I'm not sure. It's like zoos. I mean, there's part of me that doesn't like zoos, but then there's also part of me that realizes they play a significant role these days in certain survivability of some species, and so it makes it kind of torn. And he's saying, yep, her mama's still alive. Her name is Takate. Hey, I hate seeing them in captivity, but if not, I would have never seen one in person. Well, I think that is a viable point, Kay. Most people wouldn't.
Yeah, it's always been a moral dilemma for wildlife people, because it makes most people never see any of these animals.
No.
If they don't know about them and don't see them, they don't care about them.
That's what I was going to say. When they
they just don't care, because they don't even know about them. And it's not that people are being evil about it. It's just they just don't have a vested interest in the critter. And then, but then at the same time, it's like at least zoos are their mission statement has changed significantly from when we were kids.
Oh yeah. That's why you don't go to a zoo these days and see animals behind bars like they used to do.
Right.
How can an animal that size be happy in a tank? Well, that's a good question, Diane, and I'd probably not.
Yeah, I'm sure I'm sure they feel like prisoners.
Oh yeah, you'd have to believe so. Even if
And
they were born,
they're sharp enough that they'd probably understand that.
yeah, that's true too. That's true too. What's Brenda saying? She's got something. What you got in your hand? What's that showing? A crystal ball?
She's I don't know what that is.
I'm not sure either. She might have fell asleep, and that might not be anything. And Kay is saying, I agree with what Mark is saying. That's how I feel about zoos. I mean, and he's right. I mean, unfortunately, people were so far, even further removed than they've been when we were growing up, much further. And when you think about it, in the wild, I mean, and animals and stuff, and he's right. If they don't see them, a lot of people don't acquire that feeling or an attachment to the animals, and they have no concern. They're not as likely to donate money or whatever it takes to keep them alive. And when somebody says, "Oh, that's just a waste of money," well, they probably tend to agree because they've never seen one. They don't know what a grizzly bear looks like really, or an orca in this case. But I mean, that's still, I don't know. Well, there never could be a pool that's really big enough to make an orca feel at home because they live in the ocean. And that's supposed to be a train, she said. Really? Oh, I see it now. It's a headlight. I see the cow catcher. I think there should be a better train than that, though. Tina says, if you meet them, you will see their worth and you will choose to preserve them. I knew someone who became a marine biologist because they visited SeaWorld. Yeah, I was going to say that too, Tina. I think a lot of young kids have done that very same thing. They follow that dream or whatever you want to call that. That attachment can take them into a whole other world of critters and things. And they're not like again, not everyone out there can grow up like we did anymore, running the woods and seeing wild animals in their natural habitats because that habitat doesn't exist anymore, or it's not within reach of them on a daily basis or whatever. So I think all that kind of stuff plays a role. Tina and Carol says, I do love zoos because they teach us so much, but I'm glad that we now know more about meeting the physical and mental need. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And there certain animals that are much more successful at releasing. And I'm not saying the orcas can't be released. I think they have released some that have been successful. Hey, buddy. But they're not all successful, unfortunately. And that's sad. That's another really sad thing about it. They don't all survive. And I think Chris was probably can talk to that very much. They're yeah, he says above I missed it, but he says there's good and bad points about both sides.
Well, and we dealt with releasing critters all the time.
Yeah.
And there's some critters that you move around that they got no business being moved around. If you get a problem bear that's eating cattle or something and you move it somewhere else, it gets dumped into an already occupied habitat. And there's social critters that don't always play nice with each other. And so the problems are much more difficult than people realize. And people were always wanting us to move like problem mountain lions, for instance. When you dump a cat out in another cat's territory and somebody's going to die. And that's just the
Or in the
reality of it.
or in the very least, somebody's going to get displaced and pushed into a place where they don't belong and aren't wanted. Hey, buddy, what's up?
I mean, number mortality on mountain lions is other mountain lions. So,
Oh yeah, well that makes sense then.
and it's just, we moved a female cat one day and moved her to a different location, and she lasted 2 days.
Wow,
And
only
Big Tom killed her and ate her. Huh?
Wow, only 2 days, huh?
2 days, and like I said, a Big Tom killed her and ate her, and that's just the way it was.
Are you trying to grab me or what? What's up?
It can be kind of cruel out there.
Oh, it's Mother Nature can be a real tough cookie at times. She's not. She don't always play nice, even with her own. Chris, I think that's a good. You might bring up some really good points there about orcas that they face hunting in Iceland or PCB issues in the water, and that kind of stuff. I think that's another reason why they have to be more concerned about that kind of issue. And that may be a species that's never going to be, may or may not ever be able to be reared in the captivity and then turned loose. I don't think it works the same way. And like Mark's saying, all terrestrial mammals aren't. You're not able to do that either. Fortunately, some are. I know they used to have.
A lot of them it's easy, but
Yeah.
but there's some that are difficult. Most of the ones that are easy don't eat meat.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And
most of those are the ones you can't move around. Most of the meat eaters.
It's like trying to keep white sharks in captivity. I don't know if anybody's done that yet or not successfully.
What was that? Say that again.
Well, they were trying to keep white sharks in captivity.
Oh, okay.
Like aquariums and things, and they just don't.
They don't make it.
It doesn't work.
Yeah.
They've managed to keep some young ones alive for a while, but I don't know if anybody has successfully kept like a big one, which would go a long way towards education of the public on white shark biology. But then you got to like throw Flipper in there to feed it.
Yeah, which is not going to go over well at all.
Which is not going to go over well with the public.
Even though that's exactly what you're trying to preserve them to do in the wild.
Right.
People don't get that a lot of times, unfortunately. And I'm going to tell you something. This might be unpopular, but you can't raise a white shark to be a vegetarian. It's not going to get it. It ain't going to happen. They are what they are, and they're going to stay that way.
They've been that way millions of years.
Yeah,
we had a captive black-footed ferret program for years and years and years, and we had to go out and catch prairie dogs and feed them live prairie dogs because that's what they eat.
That's what they eat. Yeah,
and they don't want a dead one. They want to kill it themselves and eat that. And people were like, well, why can't you feed them like cat chow or, whatever? And it's like, it's not what they do.
Chris is saying that that the Georgia Aquarium has a white shark in captivity. Chris, do you know anything about that? How big it is, how old it is, or anything?
A whale shark.
Oh, whale shark. Oh, I thought it said white. My bad. Eyes were.
Yeah, I think the Japanese have a couple of them in captivity too. Whale sharks.
I've seen that, Chris. I think I've seen that on their television program, and which is amazing to me because a whale shark is a critter that basically swims the ocean with their mouth open to collect food and to feed themselves and maintain all their bodily functions or survive. And I can't, even though I've seen them feed them in the aquarium, I still find it hard to believe they could support that enough phytoplankton or whatever, which is what they usually feed on to survive. I don't know, Kay. I'd have to look that up and see if they've got one or not. I'm not aware of that, but I'm not going to say you're wrong either, because they might. Oh, at one time, okay. Well, they may be one of the
They did, Kay. That was where they had a juvenile that was like 6 footer or maybe even up to 8. And it was still that when they're that small, they're still feeding on fish. And it was doing fairly well, but they didn't have, it was going to get challenging as the thing grew, if it survived.
Hey, Mike, welcome back. See, Mike Cabral, I'm not sure you could take him out of captivity and release him into the wild. I don't know how well that'd work. And Teddy has already informed me that hell no, he's not going into the wild. He's perfectly fine right where he is. That's anyway. That's not where we started the morning, but that's kind of how I figured we'd end, because there's so much more going on in that world. I got excited yesterday. Mark had thought he read an article about red wolves being spotted over towards the Great Smoky Mountains in North Carolina side, and that really excited me. And then we found out that it was actually closer to where they're at. There's actually a small population of them surviving in the Dismal Swamp area or Alligator River area of North Carolina. So for one to be back over this way would be extremely exciting, but apparently that's not the case.
But they got really cool video of that one, the one I was talking about.
Yeah.
And then they had a big litter of puppies last year.
That survived?
That are surviving, yeah.
That's good. That was another problem they had here in the Smokies.
But they're still finding them dead, shot out in fields and things. I mean, I'm sure they're driving around at night and like, look, there's a coyote. And
well, that's true. They might be. Not that no. Mike brought donuts for everybody.
They're not as big a difference between them and coyotes as there is between gray wolves and coyotes.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they're not that much bigger. The coloration is not much different.
You see an actual gray wolf, it's like, instantly that's a gray wolf.
I tell you what, though, 2 points of the red wolf program. If it hadn't been for that program where they were trying to release them back here into the Smokies, I never would have seen one live, probably.
Right.
And I got to see one up close and personal, and it made, I have to admit, it was impressive. Not that the animal was great, big, giant, impressive wolf. I mean, it really wasn't all that big, and they were kind of rangy, long-legged, lanky, maybe. And
yeah, that's what gray wolves are. They're real tall.
Yeah,
and have giant feet.
But to look in one's eyes when he would come up near the fence, I mean, it was different than being looked at by a deer or something like that. I mean, when he looked at you, he was looking at you. He was penetrating your soul, and it was kind of interesting. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean.
They look at people differently. At least I thought they did. They got right inside of me. Someone posted a photo of cougars in my neighborhood. Wow.
And it was doctored.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought it might have been some release.
Okay, I was a mountain lion biologist for several years, and there are more doctored. Look, we found a mountain lion in our place. Photos flitting around out there. I've seen them reported from like every state in the union. The same cat over and over and over and over. And then a lot of times the cats are just big yellow tomcats.
Or Tina said, "Who knew Danny was a gray wolf? His feet are as big as dinner plates." I bet he's not the right color, though, Tina. But gray wolves were talking about catching or release, not catching, releasing animals back into the wild. One of the biggest problems they had with the gray wolves here in the Smokies was they never raised a successful litter.
Or red wolves, even.
I mean, red wolves. What did I say? Gray?
Yeah.
Red wolves. And because they were, even in the park where they were so shielded from the outside world, or one would think they would be, it was constant battle with distemper and something like there was something parvo.
Mange, probably.
Oh, I'm sure, but they just never made it past the puppy stage, and that was really discouraging when they were trying to, because
we have some packs of wolves, of gray wolves out here that have real problems with all of those things, and then we have other populations that are doing just fine.
Yeah,
and it seems like they get to a certain density. We've had some packs of over 30 individuals.
Wow.
And when they get like really high numbers like that, disease will go through them just rampant, and they'll lose all their pups. And
Danny's a pampered wolf. He's a pampered hound dog, at the very least. Chris was saying there was a mountain lion. Where did I see that? There was a mountain lion collared and released in Nebraska, tracked and seen in Illinois. That's interesting. I don't doubt that. I mean, they travel. They do. Interesting.
We trapped a male, a yearling male, up in the Bighorns in northern Wyoming, and it ended up dead on a railroad track in Oklahoma.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was a yearling male, or a 1.5-year-old male that was dispersing to go find a territory and just kept on walking.
Huh. Carol, this is Carol, I'm sure he would tell you he's an abused hound dog. Yeah, I bet he's not, though. Kay said...
Kay's talking about black painters now.
Yeah, but she said it was in the paper. And if it was black, it was probably closer to... I mean, if it was real, it'd probably be much closer to being a leopard than it would be a cougar. I don't know. I'm sure there's probably been a black cougar before, but black leopards are the most. When you see a black cat, it's usually a black leopard.
I don't think they've ever documented melanistic mountain lions.
I don't know if they have either, but I was just saying.
But we do have jaguars and leopards that are black.
That are black, yeah, definitely.
We don't have them, but the world has them.
The world has them, yes.
And there's escapes that happen. People have, and in some states, people can legally possess big cats, which is crazy to me.
Well, you can here. I mean, I don't know how it works. I mean, I don't think I could go out and legally obtain one and keep it here. But there are people that have refuges or rehabilitation centers or whatever they call them, where they've got big cats. Bad thing is almost every one of them has had at least one incident of somebody getting mauled or killed. So even if they are doing good work, they're not doing it. They're not being careful enough. But I mean, there's a guy out here, kind of like the Tiger King or whatever his name was on TV. This guy had, I think he had 10 or 12 big tigers and of various ages, and
That's just nuts.
I mean, I used to think growing up that I would love to have a black, I mean not black, but a tiger. I just thought they're such amazing cats, but sooner or later that cat's going to eat you. I'm just sorry, but it's going to. Pet black jaguar. I'd like to have a black jaguar, but not the kind you drive, not the kind not the kind with fur on it. I'd like to have a black F type, I think. I have 4 cats at 15 pounds. Doesn't count with the rest of the world. Man. I got one here. It's 20, and he don't count either exactly. He's still smaller than most wild cats are. All right, guys. I said I was going to sign off, and that was 30 minutes ago. And then Chris came in, which I was glad to see him. Good to see you, Chris. Come back in again. You're always welcome. And Mike says he thinks he'll stick with his 2 pet goats. All right, Mark, you get going, buddy. You got to go take care of business.
I'm off to Texas.
All right, gone to Texas.
Going to Texas.
Don't go to the Alamo. Just don't.
No. Later, guys.
See ya.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, guys. This is time to quit. I've got my finger on the end button, so I'm going to say sayonara. And everybody have a great rest of their weekend. See, this is not Easter weekend, right? That's next weekend. What was I thinking? Oh, Palm Sunday, I guess, for those who do that sort of thing. It'll be tomorrow. And everybody just be safe out there, whatever you're into, and stay well. And hope to see you again real soon. Probably see some of you on Thursday night, maybe. I'll plan on doing a show as far as this goes. I would have done one this week, but I just got home just in time to collapse pretty much. And just, I was tired. So anyway, everybody have a great time. Like I said, be safe. Carol, I hope your son is safe and sound and has a place to seek cover in case they have any more storms. And I don't know, Mike. She hasn't confirmed nor denied that, but I have my doubts. But I'll keep trying. I'll ask her again. If you see her, you might mention it to her. Maybe not in public, but only time will tell. All right, everybody. Bye-bye. Get down to Tennessee. Wait, give me a shout. Maybe next time, maybe soon we'll talk about a gathering down around Dollywood or something. Who knows?